I never thought I would stand at such a crossroads in my life. The kind of moment that makes you question everything you've built, everything you believed in. My name is Alex, and I found myself contemplating breaking up with my girlfriend, Mia, after her parents surprised me with a visit overseas. What was meant to be an innocent trip filled with adventure quickly spiraled into chaos that revealed a side of her I never recognized. It all started with the excitement of meeting her family. Mia had talked about her parents, how loving and supportive they were, and I was eager to see that world she often spoke about. But when they arrived, everything changed. From the moment I stepped into her family's lavish home, I sensed the weight of their expectations, and it didn't take long for those expectations to distort our relationship. Before I knew it, I was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. During those first few days, I put on a brave face, trying to blend in and keep the laughter flowing, but inside, I felt like an outsider. Conversations would shift abruptly when I entered the room, as if my presence somehow changed the tone. Mia would laugh and joke with her parents, exchanging inside jokes that left me standing like a deer caught in headlights. It felt suffocating. Little did I know, this was merely the beginning of a much deeper issue. As the days wore on, I watched her transform. The sweet, caring woman I had fallen in love with faded into a ghost of herself. She was constantly anxious, nervously trying to appease her parents and their whims. The playful banter I adored turned sharp, laced with a frantic need for validation from her family. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was losing her, and what hurt even more was that I didn't know how to help her without crossing that threshold into conflict. One night, after an especially tense dinner filled with awkward silences and strained laughter, I confronted her. We sat together outside under a sky full of stars, and I asked the questions that haunted me. Mia, what's going on? Why do you feel like you have to hide from me? It was there among the rustling leaves and the cool breeze that she broke down, tears streaming down her face. I can't be who I am when they're around, she said between sobs. Maybe I can't even be that person with myself. At that moment, I felt that familiar tug of love, wanting to comfort her, to pull her into my arms. But I hesitated. Something inside me screamed that this was no longer just about her struggle, but about the cracks that had begun to form in our relationship. Months flew by after that night, and over time, I noticed something unsettling. The more I tried to reach out, the further she withdrew. Everything had become a performance for her family, designed to showcase the perfect daughter instead of the real Mia I adored. It was heartbreaking to witness, and despite my attempts to reassure her of my feelings, she kept burying herself deeper into that character she played for her parents. I was on the verge of losing my mind. My love for her battled with the frustration of feeling like a puppet in a play I didn't want to be part of. I wanted her to tell me everything, to trust me enough to share her truth, but she kept dodging the questions with vague excuses about how hard it was to balance both worlds. I warned her that if I found out later that she had been keeping secrets from me, it would ruin us. But deep down, I knew that trust had already been eroded. Then one day, the unexpected happened. I received an email filled with an exhaustive spreadsheet of all the things I owed her. Flights she had upgraded for me, gifts she had given, and more bizarrely, the cost of gas from when she drove me around. I couldn't even begin to process my feelings. Was this a show of love, a cruel manipulation, or both? All I knew was that there was a chasm forming between us. I'll never forget the day she came over to collect her things. My friend, Jason, was with me for moral support, and I thought it was just a simple goodbye. That moment unfolded with chaos I could never have anticipated. When she knocked on the door, I opened it, and she pushed past me as if we were still in that old dynamic. She was incensed, filled with the fiery energy of rejection, and tried to initiate a physical connection that left me baffled. I didn't return her advance, only to be met with anger and the sharp sting of her nails on my skin as she scratched me. Jason called her out in a way I didn't expect, and the confrontation escalated into a personal reckoning right there on my doorstep. Life had shifted irrevocably, and as I stood with her hairband still echoing in my hand, I felt like I was letting go of more than just a relationship. It was a piece of my heart. That night, when all was said and done, I sat on the couch, replaying every moment of our relationship in my mind, questioning if it was truly her I was losing or the illusion I had created. I remembered the woman I had laughed with and shared dreams with, but all I could see now were the walls she had put up. I wanted to wrap my arms around her, but couldn't escape the voice that whispered, "It's not the same anymore." Now, I find myself standing on the verge of making one of the most consequential choices of my life. I highly valued transparency and trust in a relationship, but as I find myself clinging to fragmented memories, I can't help but wonder, am I wrong to keep holding on? So, dear listeners, what do you think? Was I right to let go, or should I have fought harder to salvage what we built? If you were in my shoes, what decision would you have made? I find myself grappling with these questions daily, just hoping to find clarity amidst the cloud of confusion and pain. Thanks for listening.